In these days that we have been through, the past 3 days, things have happened that have been abhorrent, terrible. We hear of the deaths of the poor children in Connecticut. Little known was that a similar tragedy happened in China the same day, almost the same hour, and children in a school were stabbed by madmen. Christ is telling us something very interesting about the end of days. You know, the interesting thing about it is that we hear so much on TV, especially if you watch the History Channel like I do, and you see so much about the Mayan prophecies of 2012, the prophecies of doom. And in 2012, you know, on the 21st, all of a sudden the Mayan calendar ends. And that means that all of earth and heaven are going to end and we're going to, you know, have a great apocalypse. Well, let me remind you, Christian brothers and sisters, there is also a verse in the Bible that says that not the angels in heaven, and not even the Son himself, but the Father alone knows only when the day shall come. So take joy in this and know that the Mayans are wrong. Take joy in this and knowing that what Jesus is telling us is not to worry so much about when it's going to happen, but let us be about the job that we are set to do when it does happen. Listen to what he says. He says, "And there will be signs in sun and moon and stars, and upon the earth distress of nations in perplexity." The distress of nations in perplexity. This is a very interesting term, because even today, nation is against all other nations. Israel is against the world, it seems. The Arab nations in the Middle East are against each other and against us. In Russia, we have Russia against the U.S. on several different things, and China is against whoever they will be against. And the nations quarrel against each other, and they are in great distress and perplexity. And at the roaring of the sea and the waves, men fainting with fear, for they have a foreboding of what's to come. Men fainting of fear, their strength leaving their bodies because they have a fear of what is to come. This great and terrible thing of what is to happen. The end of all things. The end of all time. The apocalypse. Or Armageddon. The end of days. Well, I will tell you a secret. To the Christian, the end of days is not so terrifying. We humans fear the pain of death, but we do not fear death itself, for we know that we who have died in the Lord have not died in truth, but have become one with the host of heaven. And you see, the heavens will be shaken, and then they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. This is the hope upon which we, the Christians, the chosen people, have been grafted upon the vine. Look to. We shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud, and with power and great glory. So he tells us, now when these things happen, and the earth is shaken, and the sun and the moon are distressed in their courses, and all these calamities, he tells us, when these things begin to take place, look up and raise your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Redemption, people. Redemption. Redemption of his church. This is the boat that we talk about, that you sit in the nave, the center of the boat that we are all on, adrift in that sea of roaring waves. And so, to give us a guide, he gives us a little bit of a lesson of the fig tree. He says, as soon as you see it start to sprout leaves, you know that summer is coming near. Is this not true? We see the plants start sprouting green leaves. We know that warm weather's around the corner. We know that the cold will soon be supplanted by the warm breezes of the summer. And we too shall know that as we, as Christians, begin to bear fruit, begin to bear good things in the kingdom, our testimony begins to take root in the hearts of unbelievers. And people come to you, and you're able to give them a word, and it changes their lives. And they come into the church, the doors of the church, and they accept that gift of salvation. We shall know that summer is right around the corner. Our redemption draws nigh. So what he's telling us, he's exhorting us to be watchful, to be aware of what's going on around us, to know the season, and to prepare. How do we prepare? Do we prepare ourselves by stocking up on food and ammunition and things of which we're going to try to save our own lives, you know, if the calamity comes? Or is he telling us to be prepared for a good word before the Lord? For the day is coming when the Lord shall be requiring that word from us. Be bearing good fruit in these days, in these times. Even when the world falls apart around you, bear witness to the word of the Lord. Bear witness to the gift of salvation while it is still available for people to come and take advantage of it. Be not afraid of what is to come, because it is written that the day our redemption draws near. We know that nothing will shake the foundations of this church. And so, if the gates of hell cannot prevail against his church, the gates of hell will not prevail against you, and me. The church will become small, but will become true. Because the superficial ones, the ones who like to go about in public and call themselves Christians and make a big show of their magnanimousness and their righteousness, the ones who like being called, oh, he's a good Christian man, the superficial ones will have fallen away already. And they're usually the first ones to go when the going gets tough. But your faith will be tried. Your faith in Christ will be tried by the distresses of the nations, the things of which you will go through, just as our brothers and sisters in Syria, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Turkey, they endure to this day. They endure torture, murder, loss of family, imprisonment. Believe me, brothers and sisters, it shall come here too. But be not afraid, for our redemption draws nigh. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.